Hey guys, came for 15. Jumping my Uncle Darrell. We are back talking Chicago Bears football. It's been a while since we talked Chicago Bears football. Um,
Yep.
I really haven't done any Bears videos because, well, there's nothing to talk about. But the draft came and happened. At some point, we'll do our first round thoughts about all the teams' first round picks and everything at some point down the road. But we're here to talk about the Chicago Bears picks, all their picks they've made in the draft. Whether we liked them, whether we hated them, or we didn't like them, I don't know. So, um, look, my whole thing was we talked about it for weeks, off camera, that we thought the Bears were going to invest heavily in the defense and mostly the defensive line. We'll talk about their, I guess you could say, lack thereof a defensive line investment because realistically, they ended off the draft with a defensive line player, and then they do a few undrafted free agents that they got. I don't think we'll bring them up, but I did see one defensive lineman that they got as an unrestricted or undrafted free agent, which is coming from Wake Forest. I guess he was all ACC. Okay. But
Honestly, as far as the undrafted free agents go, I mean, it's whether they'll make the roster, slam to none, considering what the Bears have already done via free agency and you know, having one actual drafted player. I, I just can't see any scenario where these defensive players they got um, undrafted uh, do better than the practice squad. I just can't see it. I just can't fathom it. So
yeah,
big
and
whoop.
I think they gave one of their undrafted rookies a fully guaranteed contract. Which, if you're wondering, what does that mean? So essentially, um, it's not a lock for them to make the team. It's a lock for them to make the practice squad. But say another team picks them up off the practice squad, then that said team has to pay him that fully guaranteed contract. So that would be off the books for the
Yeah,
Bears.
I guess that's a nice strategy to have, but I mean, he would have to be really good.
I
And
forgot who it was. I
another
wonder.
team,
I think it was that defensive lineman, but
yeah,
I would
it
have to
could have
check.
been. It could have been.
And also
Because
too,
this is the first. This is the first I've heard of it. So,
yeah,
but
I saw this
yeah,
on Twitter scrolling when the undrafted signings were coming through, and I saw, oh,
and,
Bears,
and who knows? Maybe it's a ploy to be able to keep him,
yeah,
knowing what a team has to do in order to get him. So, I mean, you might be another team might be a little bit in trepidation as far as saying, well, you know what, fully guaranteed contract. Let's just stand pat because I'm pretty sure we can find somebody else.
yeah. And then last thing, and when it comes to undrafted, there hasn't been any confirmation yet, but albeit we got a center, but still, I thought it was just a nice tidbit. The Bears did invite Olin Kreut's son, Josh Kreutz from Illinois, out for a minicamp invite. Now, if he actually does come, I highly doubt he's going to make the team, or he's going to even be in place to be the starter because you drafted Logan Jones. But
Yeah, and then
regardless, I
you signed Garrett Bradbury. So I mean, right there in itself, for me, this is just a
it's still
nice
cool
little.
though. Like
It's
to
it's 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 cool, but I mean, it's to make the public smile. That's what I get out of it.
I
It's a public,
probably to fix the
it's a
relation,
feel good. Yeah, it's a
probably to
feel
fix
good
the
story.
relationship that
Yeah,
between McCaskey and Cruz. Because if you know the
correct.
story, uh the Bears asked Cruz to, hey, you want to help us like kind of being a coach assistant, and the only thing they were going to charge him was $15 an hour, which is an absolute
Yeah,
slap
yeah,
in the
which is
face.
which is piss poor. So again, this is a nice feel good story, and where it goes, I don't think it's going to go far. If
Yeah.
he does happen to make the team, it'll probably be as a third or maybe even fourth center. So, practice squad for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know,
He could either
but
do that,
you
or
know,
I saw the other team that was interested was the Giants, but
yeah.
basically.
So, I mean, as far as the Bears are concerned, they got their number one, they got their number two, barring injury.
He'd be the number
That's
three.
probably the only yeah, that's probably the only way he actually makes it to the team.
Yeah, so. Um, I don't know if he also plays a different line position, maybe guard or something. I don't know, man. Maybe that's something they do try out. We'll see. But if he decides to
Maybe
accept being
so, but
one,
at the same maybe so, but at the same time, though, I mean, they're solid. They're not solid from a starting standpoint. I mean, the left tackle position still is, for me anyway. I don't know about you, still in flux,
yeah,
so to speak. So they still have work to do. They were able to restructure some contracts to get some cap room. Maybe they probably could make another signing somewhere, but they got to sign these rookies first. And I'm
yes.
assuming that's why they did restructure the deals. I think it was Komet and
Komet and what's our right guard? Jonah Jackson.
Jackson. That's right. They restructured those contracts. It's probably a good bet they're going to restructure more. But moving forward, we are going to commit is going to be a topic of conversation in this video.
All right, let's move on. So obviously the first round goes on. This is the first time in a while where we had to actually wait a bit because typically we would wait maybe about 8 to 10 picks the past few years.
Right.
But this time we actually had to wait. And again, can I just say this, man? The draft process with the NFL draft, I absolutely hate it. Just watching, them just
Really?
not. I just hate it because number one, they start off the draft instead of just getting to it. Hey, we're here to see the first round pick. We know who's more than likely getting selected. Just get to the draft. We have to do all this pre stuff like it's a concert, bringing out the Steelers and everything. I'm like, dude, I don't care about all these Steeler legends because you want to appease the Pittsburgh crowd. I could care less. Moving on. And then it's funny, everybody this past WrestleMania was getting on about the constant ad breaks during WrestleMania and everything. And there's one thing that pissed me off about the NFL draft, all the constant ad breaks they always got when we got to a pick. I just don't understand. I understand. We got to make the ad breaks for the money, and you made that mention to
You
me.
gotta pay the bills. You gotta pay the bills.
But
So I mean, I get all of that. I really love the fact that again, the commissioner got booed like he was a supervillain. And I love that part. Now I get it. You do have to placate to the fans in this arena and things of that nature because you are in Pittsburgh. So yeah, bring your hometown folks out there. Again, make everyone nice and happy and things like that. So I mean, I get all of that. I understand it. It's all a part of the show. It's all a part of the show. However, once they started drafting, the one thing I will say, the one thing about this is you automatically knew. We knew last week Fernando Mendoza was going to be the number one pick after all. Why would you have to put them on the clock if you automatically know who you picking? The number one, the team who's picking number one
you
should
already
be
know who
able
you
to
want.
pick before the draft starts. That's just what that might not be a popular opinion, may even be stupid. But if you know who that pick is, just go ahead and
Just
pick
put it
that
in
dude so you can
because
move on to number two.
anyways, we'll talk more about all that the other teams picks in that
You're right.
round one video.
No,
So
that's fine. That's fine. But once they started picking, the picks just started coming off the board. Now that part I did like.
now the Bears first round draft because they did 20 they got 25th overall and we were always
Yep.
speculating are the Bears going to trade back or maybe they trade up potentially a few spots.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
stayed put at 25 and they got the guy that they wanted from what it sounds like they wanted the entire time and that's safety Dylan Tyneman.
Yeah.
For his first couple of years he played at Purdue University and then he transferred
Right.
over to Oregon. Um,
Right.
I was fine with the pick. When I saw the pick, this was a replacement for Kevin Byard, plain and simple.
Yep.
He's a good tackler. He's good in coverage. This is the
Yep.
type of guy where, again, we heard it time and time again. The Bears want dudes that are speed. I think he ran like a 4.2 or something like that. He's a fast dude. And there was one thing that Ryan
Right.
Poles made a mention in his end of the year press conference, how defensively they wanted guys faster. Again, how many times do we have to see the defensive players last year read and react to the opposing team's offensive plays, and it's like ninja. You can get here a step faster. The tack and make a tackle. That's a play that's probably blown up. So they want guys to automatically diagnose the play, tell the play, and absolutely read and react. And then two, also in coverage, because there's so many times in coverage, whether it's C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, they would get beat because they have a guy running right past them and they're too slow to catch up to them. And then two,
Well, I would probably say, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I did like that when you were talking about read and react, and that's one thing that Bryant and Tiedemann do very well. They do really well at gauging an offense, diagnosing what the play is going to develop into, and then making a play. So I did like this pick as well too. And we were talking throughout the entire thing. We came up with our scenarios. We never thought the Bears in one particular case or even two was going to trade up. If now we did agree that if this pick did not showcase their player, they were definitely going to trade down.
yep. So, look, you'll take it, and then Kobe Bryant said he would open up any rookie safety. He made a Twitter post which was funny and hilarious.
Yeah.
But
Oh, really?
yeah, you got to check out his Twitter post. It was funny. I forgot.
I
I
think I
forgot
will.
the. I forgot what it was for what the what it was from, but it was from some. It was from a movie. It was from a movie, but
Hmm.
regardless,
I'll check it out.
um, I'm fine with the pick because that's the case. And then, look, Dennis Allen wants his safeties have it to where it's not a design role, right? Kobe Bryant and Tiedemann, they can both play free and strong if you need them to. And
Correct.
that creates more
Correct.
confusion for the offense because you don't know, okay, which safety is coming down in the box, which safety is the free one. So that way it
Correct.
creates more defensive advantages because with Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker, you knew who the strong safety was and you knew who the free safety was. Kevin Byard was clearly
Correct.
the free one, and Jaquan Brisker was your strong one. But with this guy, you can make
Correct.
it where it's like, oh, great, maybe we can send Kobe Bryant down to the box and we can have a blitz disguise or we have a disguise
Correct.
of a defense. But regardless, I like the pick. It was fine. I figured that they needed a safety. They addressed the need there.
They did. They did. Now, I will say moving forward, depth is still going to be an issue. So I'll kind of look for if they don't really have that third or that fourth safety for them to get something in free
The third
agency.
safety is Elijah Hicks.
Well, like I said before, I expect them to get a third or fourth safety. Elijah Hicks for me is a non-factor
So. Hey, at least his
for me.
family member who tweeted at me like a few years ago when I was criticizing the pick, I guess he's right. So I think that was his uncle. So if he's checking out this video, well, congratulations. I guess you won the battle of the war because you got a second contract, albeit it's just a 1 year contract, but still.
Yeah. What do they call it? A 1 year prove it deal.
Yeah. So we get to day two, and after day two, I'm like, all right, let's continue adding to the defense side of the ball. Let's continue. Let's finally get the trenches. And we're talking off camera. Hey, we're gonna finally go out there, finally invest in the trenches. Well, round two, pick 57, we decided to draft a center, and we get Logan Jones, who people say is the best center coming out of the draft. I should have hit my coworker up because he's actually an Iowa dude. But when I see him on Tuesday, I'll tell him like, "Hey, we got your center." Um, so look, um, I'm fine with the move. They needed to get a center. Again, Drew Dahlman in his abrupt retirement for whatever reason, he still has yet to come out and explain why he retired. We're just going to suggest it's probably because of he didn't want to hurt himself long term and get any sustaining injuries, or maybe he just lost the love to play the game. Regardless, um, that with Drew Dahlman retiring, that threw a wrench in the entire plans because then you had to go give up a fifth round pick to go get Bradbury. And then now you had to, I'm not going to say waste a second round pick on a center, but it basically made it to where, well, you had to get the pick right here, and you have to draft a center because, well, you don't expect Garrett Bradbury to be your future here. So this pick is literally for 2027 and beyond. Um, look, typically linemen from Iowa, they're pretty good. And if he's a center, he's pretty good. And well, regardless, anybody from the front seven on Iowa, whether you're a tight end or that, you're pretty good. You're pretty good in the Big Ten. So I'm okay with this drafting because he can learn under Bradbury, maybe challenge him in training camp, And hell, if he wins the starting job, well, then I'm going to be scratching my head at Ryan Poles. Well, then why did you trade for Garrett Bradbury, a fifth round pick that we can maybe use in this year's draft? But then again, this Bears staff, they like it to where they want a veteran in there. And I think it's just going to be, hey, you're going to sit behind Garrett Bradbury, learn what you can, learn the playbook, learn the calls and everything. And then 2027, you're going to be out there in the action. So I'm fine with this. You can never go wrong with safety.
I did like the pick too. Um, I didn't have any reservation whatsoever because I knew that we had um, a lack of bodies at the center position. So as good as Dolman was, I mean, we still really didn't have anyone behind him in the event he got injured. So again, you know how I've always been with the Bears. We seem to always have really good, solid starters. And you know, football is a collision sport, and the Bears have always lacked depth. And I just spoke about depth in the safety position. We're going to speak about depth here. So the same applies. You have to be able to pop another piece in when you lose a piece. Not saying any of these guys are going to get hurt or injured, but again, you have to be ready in the event an injury happens. And I did like the pick of Logan Jones. And if he's projected the best center in the draft, great.
Yeah. So hopefully he turns out to be like the next Olin Kreutz. So there you go.
Hopefully.
All right. So then this becomes
here's where shit went sideways.
Yeah, this has become the part of the draft where, with all due respect, you know, the guys we drafted in day 3, they're all solid guys. They're all solid guys. Maybe practice squad players, maybe guys that can contribute to the team, are special teamers at best. But day 2, once I saw these next 2 picks, it killed everything I had left when it came to any Bears draft picks because. And then, you know, Ryan Poles, with the way he talked in his press conferences after day 2, I'm just like, I don't know if you just understand this. You don't get it. So the Bears trade back. I figured, okay, they made the draft pick for Logan Jones. They traded back the one of the picks. I think they had the 60th pick at the time.
They did. They had number 60.
So they traded back with it was the Panthers or the Bills? I forgot what team it was.
The Bills. I think it was the Bills. They traded back for the Bills.
Okay. So they trade back to go to 69th overall, and everything, and they do get an extra 3rd round pick, as well. So they traded back into the 3rd round, and I'm like, okay, maybe we finally go out there, we go get a defensive tackle, maybe an edge rusher, something that's left available. And the Bears don't do that. They drafted the tight end, and when I heard they drafted the tight end, I'm like, huh? Wait, what? They drafted Sam Roche out of Stanford. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he doesn't retire early like Andrew Luck and Drew Dahlman. They have a 10 to retire early. They're academic guys. Anyways, he's a tight end, and I saw this, and I'm just like, what in the blue hell are you doing? Only thing, this guy is literally the 3rd string tight end. That's all he is. And does this mean something for Kmet? Ryan Poles alluded to the fact, like, no, Cole Kmet's not going anywhere. We have plans for him in the future and things like that. Sure, you restructured his contract earlier in the day so you can afford these rookies. Cole Kmet is a part of the last regime, and you've been shipping out the last regime players bits by bits by bits. I don't know about if he's in the long-term plans. Cole Kmet more than likely is here in the short-term plans, and he might be either gone. He might be gone by next offseason because you would have to give him another contract. I don't know if you want to pay him because, especially with the emergence of Colson Loveland, you'll probably want to pay him, the younger player. So, what does this guy do best? He occasionally catches the ball, but he's mostly good at pass protection and just run blocking. He's literally going to be given the Durham Smythe role. Again, I don't know why you just didn't want to re-sign Durham Smythe. Maybe the Ravens, because he's going over there with Declan Doyle, said, hey, man, we know We know what's his face. Isaiah Likely is going to be leaving because he's going to go with Harbaugh to the Giants. You'll have a bigger role than just being the third string blocking tight end, and then you'll occasionally get a pass from Caleb like you did last year. We're gonna have more of a role with you with Mark Andrews, and maybe they were also willing to pay him more. But still, you're telling me you could have not just brought back Durham Smythe? Maybe, yeah, maybe the age factor is too. But regardless, you could have signed up any tight end in free agency to be the cheap third string option that can block. But we wasted a top premium third round pick on a third string tight end. Okay, I get it. You want to run 13 personnel? Fine. He better be out there. He better be productive. So when I see Caleb Williams throwing him the ball, he better be catching the balls. That's all I ask. And then again, this questions my whole thing about Ryan Poles. As much as I love the guy, it just makes me hate him when he makes picks like this. This is the only thing I'm going to say. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Um, I'm gonna take a different take here. Um, I have decompressed. I've had my frustrations over the pick. So what I will say is yes, I believe you are correct when you say in the third round, this guy would have been around.
He would have been around in day 3.
He would have been around the next day. I mean, I just can't fathom anyone moving up to get an inline blocker for a third string tight end. Let me say that. So I didn't like Poles' answer about this pick. He seemed to have, instead of accepting responsibility, he threw people under the bus, and probably deservedly so. I mean, this for me, this wasn't a Poles pick.
This was a Ben Johnson pick,
I
100%.
think this is clearly a Ben Johnson pick. So why would
He
Ben
didn't really
Johnson
explain it
want this guy?
yesterday. He didn't explain it yesterday.
No, he didn't. So why would he want to make this pick?
Third
The
string tight
jury's
end that
out.
will
We'll
eventually
see.
become the backup tight end to Colson Loveland in a few years.
Let's see. Let's see. I mean, does this mean anything for Komet? Maybe, maybe not. But apparently, the word is coming out of the team that they want to run 13 personnel.
Well, I better see a
And if
lot of
they
13
wanted,
personnel next year then. Because if I don't see, if
well,
I
I
see
mean,
more 11 and 12 personnel, then I'm gonna be like, well, then this guy could have been a defensive lineman. We'll talk
correct,
about the defensive lineman soon.
correct. And maybe they got them probably because, yeah, they do got some issues on the offensive line, specifically left tackle, you know. And as much as, we can simply say, well, Durham Smythe was this, Durham Smythe was that. For me, Durham Smythe wasn't all that great of a blocker either. So if Sam Roush is a really good blocking tight end, we will see, because obviously that is a need for the football team. So let's just see. How often will they run 13 personnel?
We'll find
Not
out.
necessarily sure. Yeah, we'll definitely find out. But he's on the team. He's a part of the unit. Let's see what he does.
Alrighty. So the next pick in the third round they got was pick 89, and that is wide receiver out of LSU, Xavier Thomas.
Yes.
Now he's fast, ran 4.2. That's great.
Yeah.
And then when I found out, or when they were saying what the plans were for this guy, it sounds like all at best he's going to be a special teams.
It sounds like Velus Jones all over again. Now, I will say in the young man's defense, I do watch a considerable amount of SEC football. He was the second string wideout. Now, granted, LSU did not have a great year, so that really doesn't say much for folks that are on the outside looking in. But the cat does have some over the top speed. So he's what, 5'10", maybe 5'11".
Yeah.
Roughly almost 200 pounds. So he's a decently sized wide receiver. He's not a little one of them little June bug type dudes, but so I think he might have some type of value, uh, especially in certain situations and when you want to take the top off the defense.
Yeah.
So um, let's see what we got. And but special teams, the way it's played in the NFL right now, I mean, it's like they all but nullified kickoffs to the point whereas you're not going to really get much anyway. How many touchdowns did a team score by a kickoff last year? I don't recall seeing more than two. I think Dallas had one and Washington had one. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But there wasn't a lot of kickoffs in which, you know, teams are really taking advantage and taking it all the way back. So a return specialist, yeah, I got to admit, I'm not really happy about a return specialist in the fourth round.
Yeah.
So they must have other plans for this young man.
Yeah, they said multiple. I think Paul said in his thing, like, we're not saying like he's not a smart man or smart kid. The fact that he can't learn the playbook and everything, but when they drafted this guy, and I hear that at best this guy next year is just going to be a return specialist or just a special teams returner.
Yeah,
I just like,
yeah,
well, this sounds like you're trying to make up for Velus Jones and hope that this guy is what Velus Jones wasn't.
correct.
Now, I also do feel, respectfully, this is another Ben Johnson pick. He saw the speed. He saw the fact that, oh, this guy's fast. He's like, I got to have this in my offense. Well,
Yeah,
again, like
and
I
it was,
said,
and if I'm sure he was one of the top five fast guys in the entire draft. So, yeah, this sounds like another Ben Johnson pick, which, again, we will see. My problem is going to be, again, and we've talked about this in the past as well, too, offensive coordinators who become head coaches. Offensive coordinators want to show that they're the smartest dudes on the field, that they stuff don't stink, so they can, take, water and make it wine. And it doesn't matter who they put out on the field; they will make the best out of it. Okay. If that be the case, then maybe Thomas will be okay. But again, we haven't played anything just yet. So um, they have got to have bigger plans for this kid other than just being a return specialist.
I just don't know why
There's
you
no
waste another premium pick.
yeah, I gotta admit, I'm more baffled by this pick as a return specialist than Roush as an inline blocker. So
And again, maybe this is another developmental piece. You got Khalif Raymond, who I thought was going to be a special teams dude. Guess
yeah,
not. I guess you want him to be more a receiver and a punt returner, but I guess this is just going to be your kick returner. Maybe again,
yep.
just like with Logan Jones, this guy will be waiting in the wings. You'll do the 1 year of Khalif Raymond, and then this guy will come in, and then he'll basically do everything that Khalif Raymond did, will probably be doing for you this year.
That's true. Well, in the Bears' defense, kick returning, punt returning was a problem for the Bears.
Yeah.
Was a problem.
And
I
Devin
mean,
Duvernay
they
was
they
subbed.
rare they rarely got, and we talked about this in our videos last year too. They rarely got to the 30-yard line. Rarely with kicks. Whether they just was not reading the blocks, reading the holes, or just trying to play hero ball, I just do not know. But they rarely got to the 30-yard line. So maybe Thomas can help in that endeavor. So, but again, we'll see.
This then goes to day three. So the Bears' our first pick in the fourth round, is Texas University's cornerback Malik Muhammad. Um, Pretty good cover corner. You'll take it. You can never go wrong. That's more depth there, albeit I think we're kind of really stacked with depth, but I guess that must show they're not really confident in Terrell Smith coming off his injury and then whatever Zoff Frazier, because really realistically, Zoff Frazier and Terrell Smith to an extent, they're really behind the eight ball in the
Yeah,
defense.
yeah.
So
And
um
additionally, they lost LaShawn Wright.
Yep.
They lost Gardner Johnson. Gordon, it's still we don't
Injury
know what
prone.
his injury is going to do for him. And Muhammad is tall and lanky like Nashawn Wright was, so it does not shock me that they picked a guy like Muhammad because Nashawn Wright was such a good piece for them as a cornerback. So, and on top of that, Muhammad is fast. I believe he's a 4.4 as far as speed is concerned. So,
Yeah,
and he's
four four
6'2".
two.
Yeah, 4.42 or 4.2.
4-4-2.
4.42. Yeah. So, and he's tall at 6'2". So 6'2", roughly around 190. He's, as far as build is concerned, when you compare him to Nashawn Wright, they're similar. So they had to do something to the cornerback room as well because right now, if you really think about it, Johnson came back from injury. Gordon came back from injury. Were they the same when they came back? No, they were not. So they had to be able to build that cornerback room up. And I think this was a definitely good pick. Outside of the first two picks, this pick I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, he potentially has a chance to win the starting job, which that tells you all you need to know
Yep,
about Tyreek Stevenson. Maybe the Bears, maybe Ryan Poles still have not gotten over the fact Tyreek Stevenson did the thing he did 2 years ago in Washington. And I think that's just been
maybe
a
so,
blemish on him.
maybe so. But I mean, last year Stevenson was not bad. He
He wasn't
wasn't great.
bad.
He wasn't bad. I mean, he was. I think they moved him to slot corner as opposed to having him on the edges, especially when Johnson came back from injury. But again, that cornerback room was devastated with injury, and it was devastated by free agency. And Sean Wright left. I wasn't a big fan of Gardner Johnson, especially when they were playing man. He got burnt a lot. So
That's why
they
they let
got
him
to be
go.
able to have good. I'm sorry.
That's why they let him go.
Yeah, he got burnt a lot. So, and I mean, he was okay for the first couple of games, I guess. But once you start watching film on the Bears, teams started to decide, well, hey, man, Gardner Johnson is slow of foot. So let's do this and we'll be able to get by him. And the teams got by him with great ease, I would probably say.
Yeah.
So now you get some guys up in it, and hopefully Gordon and Johnson come back healthy. Hopefully.
Well, I would think with a full off season, they would be healthy. So I think this is more of a
Hopefully.
wake up call to Tyreek Stevenson. Not that his football career is on the line, but 100% the starting job is on the line for you. And if you don't win the job and say maybe either another corner or this guy takes the starting job, well, the Bears are probably not going to bring you back in 2027.
Well, I was going to say that when Johnson came back and Nashawn Wright got solidified in the position, Stevenson wasn't starting anyway.
Yeah.
He
Maybe
wasn't
Dennis
starting
Allen's just not
anyway.
high on Stevenson.
Maybe not. Maybe not. But at the same time, though, Stevenson did not play bad last year. I'm not Dennis Allen. I don't know what Stevenson does, behind closed doors, but I can just definitely tell you what I saw. And the kid did not play bad last year.
But remember, this is a new coaching staff. They've been weeding
That's
out the
true.
Eberflus guys.
That is absolutely true. And if Stevenson comes in with the big head basically because he played a little bit better last year, Muhammad gonna take his spot.
So we'll see. Um, Round five, we got this pick in a trade up with Carolina. And we drafted linebacker from Arizona State, Keyshawn Elliott.
Yes.
Um, and look, just another solid move for depth purposes. Um, could this guy potentially, be the replacement for TJ Edwards? More than likely, I would think he's faster. He does play the middle linebacker position, which we did have TJ
Yep.
Edwards playing last year. And plus, we
Yep.
don't know how TJ Edwards is going to look coming off his ankle. I think he did do an interview. He said he is better. But we'll see. But this is probably just a developmental project right here. in hopes of, maybe he hits. And once we move off on TJ Edwards, we can plug and play with this guy. And maybe,
Well,
who
I
knows?
will tell you this. I will tell you this. With what Dennis Allen did with the backup linebackers last year, I cannot fathom any scenario where Elliott doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, when Edwards went down, they popped the guy right up in there and he played well. Tremaine Edwards, he went down for a few games. They played
DeMarco.
well.
DeMarco Jackson.
Yeah, DeMarco Jackson, they played well. Noah Sewell, he went down for a couple of games. They kept plugging guys in, and these guys played well. So I cannot fathom any scenario where this kid won't succeed under this Dennis Allen defense.
Maybe it's
So
some point, maybe you try him out at edge. Maybe see, hey man, go get the pass rusher.
yeah, maybe he's definitely a really good athlete, and from what I read about him, he has a high motor. So maybe he's small though, 230, 235 pounds. So maybe not edge, but at the same time, though, you can definitely play him inside the numbers for sure.
Yeah. We're running out of time. We'll talk about the last pick, and everything, and then we'll be back.
All right, cool.
Okay, back. So then the last pick that the Bears made, because they did trade up, it was in the 6th round, and they drafted Jordan Van Den Um,
Vandenberg.
yeah, Vandenberg.
Yeah, yeah,
He played with Georgia Tech after being with Penn State the past few seasons. Um, Look, the guy is athletic. We'll see if he can play a role in the defensive line. Um, Look, nothing else to say. He is the first South African player to be drafted in the NFL. I hope, this guy is a good player for us. Hopefully he gets the opportunity and hopefully he can get a spot and he earns it. And maybe he's a good defensive line player because we definitely need all the help we can get. But outside of that, this is just clearly just
yeah.
another depth piece. You hope that maybe he hits his ceiling and goes higher beyond that. But at this point, any defensive line help, I'll take it because it's better than trotting out the same guys that we've been seeing. But that's exactly what the team's going to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the Bears did add some pieces. Now, are they suitable to what we want to see as Bears fans? No. But this kid is big. What was he? 6'3", 310, 315, maybe 320. So, I mean, this kid is big. And I read he does have a high motor. So let's see. Again, they drafted him. Obviously, he has some type of value to the point whereas he earned a draft spot. So let's see. But looking at what they've done so far, the interior portion of the defensive line is just, it's not good at all. I mean, they were not able to stop the run whatsoever. As a matter of fact, no teams just ran all over us last year.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was just atrocious. And the offensive line, there are certain areas of the offensive line that did really well when we tried to control the line of scrimmage and run the football. So we made some strides there, but winning at the line of scrimmage is a must for championship football. I mean, you got to do it. And I say this all the time. There are 3 winning ways of football: run the ball, stop the run, quarterback don't make any mistakes. Well, we were able to do 2 of those things. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. But the kid does have size.
Yeah.
He does have size. I mean, what 6'2", 6'3", potentially 320 pounds. This is a big dude.
Hmm.
So, and usually big dudes, they do very well um, as defensive tackles. So let's see, will he be able to get on the field? Probably. How many plays per game? Not really sure. But again, when there's an injury, and there always will be an injury on the defensive line, you got to be able to expect that this kid will be ready when called.
So yeah, that was basically the draft picks for the draft yesterday, or for the
Yeah,
entirety of the draft within the 3 days. Now
yeah,
Ryan Poles, he did talk to the media after every day of the draft, and then Brian Poles and Ben Johnson on day three did talk to the media. Um,
yeah,
and the only highlights that I just want to make a mention of outs, that they basically talked about was just when the reporters asked them about the D line, and the reporters have every right, and they kept asking Ryan Poles. They asked him day one after day one, they asked him after day two, and they asked him after even day three with Ben Johnson in the room, and they asked him a multitude of questions because I'm like, media, you need to ask Ryan Poles, like, why is there seemingly a lack of investment in the D line? Now, they did ask Ben Johnson, which thank God. I was like, okay, can we stop asking Ben Johnson offensive questions? Can we ask him about the defense, particularly the defensive line? Because he's the head coach. I understand he has the main aspect of the offense side of the ball, but can we ask the head coach what his thoughts on the defensive side of the ball is and how it can be better? So yesterday they did ask Ben Johnson about the defensive line and the lack thereof. The fact of the reporter framed it like, you're kind of running it with the same guys, and they didn't really particularly play well last year. What's going to
yeah.
make it different that they're going to play well this year? And Ben Johnson, the way he alluded, where he talked about it, he basically said, well, yeah, in year one with, coaches and players being accustomed to each other for the first year, it's not going to be perfect. Okay, I understand what he means by that. And then he also added on, he's like, listen, it's also on the coaches to do a better job at coaching these players up to do their jobs and get them up to speed to play what they need to be. And I like that answer because it's like, well, then dang, what is the D line coach teaching these guys in maybe or indie periods and things like that? Is he telling them certain type of moves? Is he looking at the tape? Is he looking at the film telling these guys like Javon Dexter, Austin Booker, Dio Dangbo, all these guys that, for all intents and purposes, we have no confidence in. Maybe Austin Booker to an extent, but regardless, no confidence in anybody on this defensive line. What is this guy telling these guys? Hey, this is what I'm looking. This is what the offensive lines and the offense are doing against you, right? Is he doing his job? Because it sounds like, according to Ben Johnson, maybe he's not doing a good enough job like he should be doing. So maybe that is just a warning to the D line coach. Hey, brother, you need to do a better job at coaching. Because not only do you need to coach these guys on what they're giving us on film and giving them the
Yeah.
to do, what are the fundamentals you guys are teaching these dudes to get off blocks, get in the backfield, not only stop the run, but pressure the quarterback to make his life a living hell? So I like what Ben Johnson's had to say about that. He basically, in a way, put his D line coach on notice.
Um. Okay. That's a great answer. And from a coaching standpoint, I get it. Have everybody become accountable. It's not always just the player. At some particular point, the coaches have to be accountable for the players that's under their charge. I get it. However, that said, it is also up to management to make sure that they do give the coaches suitable players that they can be able to coach. And at some point, the player has to be able to be responsible for their own growth and maturity. That's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. They gave Dio Otabengo what
55.
5 years?
No, three,
Yeah,
3 years,
5 years.
55. 3 years, 55 mil.
3 years, 55 million. And he only got what, 2 sacks
1 sack.
last year? I'm sorry. There's only so much coaching you can do.
And he's coming off an Achilles injury.
There's only so much coaching you can do. And with an Achilles injury, it is not certain that we're going to see him this year.
We'll see him. He just won't be what he probably was maybe a year ago.
Well, I mean, all he did was bull rush. He showed no versatility on the line to be able to get to the quarterback in passing situations. He couldn't stop the run. All he could do was bull rush. And a bigger, stronger, faster offensive lineman always met the challenge and stopped him. So I was not a fan of Odangbo. I was not a fan. I really wasn't. Austin Booker, he was good. He was good. And he did get into the backfield during passing situations, but on the adverse, he couldn't stop the run.
And stop the run. He's got to be consistent on both sides of that.
Tall. He's tall. He's lanky, and his body is built to rush the passer. His body is not built to stop the run. That's what I saw.
He's got to do.
So
both.
if you want to make Booker a more versatile defender, then yes, coaching is a must. You got to be able to make him aware of certain situations so he'll know exactly what to do. And they did sign a couple of other free agents as well, too, for the defensive line. So I do get some rationale as far as why they didn't draft at the defensive line. They did make some signings. You let's give them a shot. You really never know. Most times a change of scenery does happen for an athlete to the point whereas he can do great things. But Booker has been with us for what now? 3? This is his third year.
He's going to his third year.
Yeah. I think we need to see something out of this dude this year. Whatever we get out of Booker this year, this is probably be as good as Booker gets.
Yeah, this got to be his peak year. And
this is as good as Booker. This is as good as he gonna get.
That's why
this year.
That's why when Ryan Poles gave his answers, and whether it was day 1 or day 2, and he basically talked about, we have to stick to the board, what the board has for us, and everything. And, his comment when in response to a reporter about, the pass rush and everything. And again, he talked about how, well, we feel like we can afford to have the quarterback hold the ball a little bit longer. Huh?
Yeah.
What?
I heard that.
No. You want to get the quarterback to make him not hold the ball too long. Listen, I understand.
Correct.
You got a lot of guys at the linebacker core and in the secondary that are a lot faster than the guys last year. But there's only so much they can hold up on their end because your front 7 or your front 4 can't get home.
Right.
I'm sorry.
And Montez Sweat, they got to get somebody to help this dude out. This dude is being double teamed a lot. He's being chipped a lot. And if you're being double teamed and chipped, then you are associating 3 players for one dude because, you don't have to worry about the other side. The Bears have got to do something to give this dude some help. Montez Sweat is good enough to get 15 sacks.
Well, with all due respect, the last time I saw Montez Sweat play that insane good where he's getting sacks and he's blowing up plays, when we first traded for him. Since then, I've seen him. And I know last year he had a really good season last year, but I'm sorry. We're paying him like he's Max Crosby level.
I get all of that, but at the same time, though, it's like if he's the only guy that can get to your quarterback, then teams come in with a concerted effort to make sure you nullify him. He gets chipped a lot. He gets double teamed a lot. Now, granted, the Bears don't do really a good job of running stunts and moving him around. I'll give you that. which goes back to Ben Johnson's coaching theory.
I feel like that's
But they
more.
got to
I
do
feel like that's more.
something.
I feel like that stunt stuff. That's more a DA thing. Maybe DA needs to start running more stunts.
Maybe so. I mean, but again, it goes back to what Johnson was saying as far as the coaches have got to do their job. I get it. And he could have been talking about Dennis Allen. He could have been. Well, Dennis, you need to, you need to figure out ways to get these guys to the quarterback instead of just running straight up. Montez over here, Dio over here, Billings in the middle. You got to do something other than the same stuff. We're predictable on defense. And at some point, Ben Johnson is right. Coaches got to step up.
I just I just didn't like the answers Ryan Poles had to say in his press conference because, in all honesty, it just tells to me you're gambling on these factors because, and especially he mentioned this multiple times, even yesterday, press conference with Ben Johnson, the fact that, well, these guys are now in year two of this defense, they're more accustomed to it now. And I'm like, well, defense, especially a D line, it's not hard to play. You stop the run and you get to the quarterback and you get off your blocks. So
that's true.
Because you say, oh, these players are in year two, what, is there some sort of complex system at the D line front? No, there isn't. It's just go get the quarterback or go stop the run.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. As far as stopping the run is concerned, the Bears did make some moves in addition to drafting Vandenberg. I mean, Neville Gallimore, I think the other guy's name is last name Street, I believe, Contavious Street. I mean, you still got Billings. So, I mean, you do have – oh, Billings is gone. That's right. I'm sorry. So you do have guys in the interior of the defense that can assist and if not stopping the run completely, slowing it down so then that way – you're not getting 4 or 5, 6 yards of carry. Maybe you're getting, 2 and 3.
I would hope they can.
Okay. Hopefully.
Hope. I'm sorry. I'm not confident anything Ryan Poles has to give me outside of sweat on this front line.
And then you got Dexter. You do have Dexter as well, too. And let's be –
Dexter's fighting for his life.
Yeah, well, I understand. But 2 years ago, Billings was – a Pro Bowler, in my opinion, until he got hurt.
Until he got hurt. And then he literally got hurt, got fat, and
he has not been – he was not the same. He was not the same. But that's where we're talking about depth. When Billings went down, the Bears season, for the most part, defensively went with it. And he was not the same when he came back the next year.
Like Ryan Poles,
so again, gotta make sure you got depth.
Yeah,
you do.
Ryan Poles this is a risky gamble, man. And again, it continues to further make me, and I said it before earlier, for all the good that I like Ryan Poles and his moves, neglections of the front. To me, again, I might be overreacting a bit, but I'm sorry. Yeah, when Ben Johnson comes in, you overdo the entire offensive line. You make trades, you go sign guys, you make sure your offensive line is set for Ben Johnson's offense to work. But when you get the defensive line, we don't want to do that. Okay. So you're trusting on Montez Sweat. Fine. All right. You're trusting that Neville Gallimore and Contavious Street can give you more and actually play above what they played with the Falcons and the Colts respectfully. You're expecting motivated Dio Dangle. That's what Ryan Poles said a few months ago. He's apparently motivated. That's the ongoing funny gag on Bears Twitter. Motivated Dio is going to come in here and he's going to prove people wrong. Coming off an Achilles injury, mind you. You're hoping Shamar Turner takes the next step. Coming off an ACL injury, mind you.
Coming off an injury, yeah.
And he takes the next step and he shows something of, oh, we got a great hit here because he's a second-round draft pick. Okay. You're expecting Austin Booker to take the next step How many times, how many years do we have to say that? We said this last year. He's going to take the next step. If he cannot, if Austin Booker cannot give me 8 sacks next year, then he's hit his ceiling. And
I agree.
that means he's just another guy. He's a good, solid
Yeah,
rotational edge rusher, but he's not a
yeah.
dude. Because this is time and time again. The Bears keep hyping Austin Booker like he's going to be this dominant pass rusher and a guy that can stop the run. We have rarely seen that.
And
He's
we have seen
flashes.
flashes he could be guy. We've seen flashes he could be that guy, especially in the playoffs last year. We've seen flashes. All we need is maybe just instead of showing us a flash or two in 1 or 2 games,
All game.
how about build that from week to week to week? And I mean, I like Booker. I mean, he got the look of a guy that can get you 10 to 15 sacks. And I agree with you totally. If he don't get anywhere around 7, 8, 9 sacks, yeah, I gotta admit, that's it for him.
Yeah, he's hit his ceiling.
Yeah, that's it for him.
So you're gambling on
Let's go ahead and
him
start.
to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You're also gambling on Grady Jarrett to overcome the knee injury he had last year and play better than he did last
yeah,
year. And he's also another guy that's getting paid a
yeah,
boatload of money because you had to overpay
yeah,
for him because you had to get leadership in the room because your
yeah,
locker room was fractured due to
yeah.
Eberflus.
And now the Bears have become a team that has cap issues now. Whereas last year, the year before, and the year before that, especially when Poles got there, Poles worked so hard to give us all this cap room. And now it's to the point where we barely have any.
And
I
most of the
think what
cap
we're right
space,
now,
and most of the
10
cap space
million
is
under the cap.
well now they got 10 million in cap space now.
Yeah, 10 million under the cap because they restructured Komet and Jackson. You know, is Grady willing to restructure? You know, will Montez Sweat be willing to restructure?
I don't know why they haven't restructured his contract at all. See with Grady and see why can't Dio's contract? Oh wait, he's coming off injury. We need to make sure he gets his full
He's
money.
coming off injury. You
And see, and those are the two guys realistically outside of Sweat on the defensive line that are eating up most of your cap. You're paying
yeah,
friggin' Grady Jarrett,
yeah,
I think 40 something million, and then
yeah.
Dio was getting paid 55 mil.
Well, think about it. And then you got Edwards
Yeah.
eating
That's
up
why
eating
that's
up
why they
cap.
don't that's why I perfectly see if the defensive line sucks next year, I 100% see it to where they cut Grady, they cut Dio, they get off those contracts to free up cap space. They'll make their moves
Yep,
to get rid of some cap space because remember too, there's been reports they're already in the planning stages to give Caleb Williams his contract. They're already in the planning
yep,
stages of that.
yep, yep.
So they
And
got
you
to make
know
sure
for
they have enough.
yeah, and you automatically know what that does to a team. What that does to a team. Once you give that quarterback that big money, it tears the rest of your cap up.
And to be honest, for the Bears, they need to pay him that money because you're not letting that quarterback walk out the door. Because you do
No,
that,
I agree. I agree.
it's over for you. I don't care.
And you know Caleb gonna get his money.
Oh yeah, he's a
You
freaking
know
part
he
owner
gonna
of
get his money.
that Boston soccer franchise for women's soccer.
You know he gonna get his money.
Yeah.
At least 40.
Oh yeah.
At least 40.
And then you also got to think about if Roma Dunze actually breaks out, you got to pay him. You're definitely going to pay Colson Loveland the way he's got to break out. And if Luca
Yep.
Burden takes another step, you're paying him. You got to pay Darnell Wright next year. They picked up his 5th year
Yep.
option. You're not letting
Yep.
Darnell Wright walk out the door. I'm sorry.
Nope. You're not. And you're gonna sign Darnell Wright because you know the year after that, Caleb is gonna be up.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure there's certain players that are on the books before you sign Caleb. You got to make sure there's certain players off the books.
Yeah, and maybe they also again
before you sign Caleb.
going back to Court Muhammad. Maybe this is also a sign. I know I mentioned Stevenson. Maybe this is also a sign. Okay, Jalen Johnson, we
Yep.
love you, but we're
Deuces.
not gonna
We
make a
love you,
second
but
contract.
deuces. And if he gets hurt again this year, I can honestly say that that is all but a certainty that, yeah, they're going to try to relieve themselves of that cap money.
Yeah.
June 1 is really big. June 1 is really huge.
Yeah.
Who they decide to release after June 1 is going to come off our cap this year.
So,
And do we think Jalen Johnson could be that? I doubt it.
no.
I doubt it. But
That'll be a next year thing.
next year, a June 1 cap hit this year, maybe, maybe, to get that money back. But they just restructured his deal. It wouldn't look good to restructure his deal and then release him as a June 1 cap hit. Makes no sense. So I think Komet's on the team. Grady Jarrett may be a June 1 hit with all the defensive linemen signed.
Him and Dio are going to be gone next year. They ain't going to want to keep.
Well, I was talking about this June 1.
Well,
I'm talking about this June,
no,
which
they're
potentially could be Grady Jarrett.
I don't think they're cutting Grady Jarrett. No, they're keeping.
I don't think so either, but I'm just spitballing as far as what other ways and what salaries could they, let go to get some cap relief before we start OTAs.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We know it's not going to be Dio. We know it's not going to be Dio. We know it's not going to be Edwards. We know it's not going to be Johnson.
Yeah, and Ryan Poles, they did make a mention they can still get some guys. There are guys out there in free agency. Cam Jordan's still out there who has a familiarity with Dennis Allen, albeit he's older. But at this point, I'll take a Cam Jordan. Joey Bosa's still out there.
I think if you get Cam Jordan across from Montez Sweat, yeah, Cam Jordan can get you 10 sacks.
Yeah, Joey Bosa's still out there in free agency. These guys that are out there that are still solid pass rushers, you can probably get away with giving them a cheap deal, like maybe a cheap $10 million deal at the slightest. When you just free up more cap space for structures, you can give something like that. Just we just need.
Well, that's why I say the June 1. The June 1 is going to be specifically interesting for the Bears. If there's going to be a considerable cut after June 1. Those funds are immediately released towards the cap. So with that being said, the Bears have got some guys that they can release on June 1 to get them some cap relief in order to be able to sign a guy like Bosa or sign a guy like Cam Jordan. Now, the question is going to be, is that in the Bears' plans? No one knows. When we think that Ryan Poles is going to do one thing, he does not.
He does the opposite.
And he'll do the opposite. I personally believe Grady Jarrett should be a June 1 cap release. You can't do Komet. If he could get rid of Dio, I would do that in a heartbeat. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I would. But it's too late because Poles has already spoke about his praise for Dio and how motivated he is.
No, well,
Well, motivated Dio, but
he also said the board told him to do certain things as well too. What if the board tells him, "Hey, you get rid of Dio"?
Yeah, did the board tell you to draft a third string tight end? I highly
That's
doubt
what that was his explanation. The board told him to do it.
Yeah.
I guess the board is banned.
That was the number one line that always ticked me off and made me pull out my hair with whatever I got left. The board.
Yeah. The board.
Every time he says it every year, every draft, the board this, the board that.
The board. It's the board, guys. Just letting y'all know it's the board.
That's my problem, Ryan Poles. He builds the team outside in. And then the guys he builds in, they're just Jags.
Yeah.
It's no elite dude. Now maybe when the Patriots came up to go get the Illinois pass rusher Jackus, maybe that threw a wrench in your plans. because
Yeah.
he was the last dominant, really good pass rusher out there, and then the Patriots just come straight up and just take him again like they did with Travion Henderson. So maybe the Patriots have some insider knowledge. Maybe Diana Rossini is giving Vrabel, hey, the Bears are going to take this guy. Just being funny there for a second. But
You
I
know, I
I just don't know. I just don't
the
know.
whole you mentioned Vrabel and Rossini. That's amazing. That's
He needed counseling yesterday. Probably marriage counseling with his wife.
oh for sure. And then it comes out that he's been dealing with Rossini for what the last 5 to
6 years.
6 years.
6 years. Yeah. AJ Brown goes to the Patriots. That was strictly because of that relationship right there. But okay. Look, regardless, we'll see what the Bears do. Again, they can still add some dudes because there's still dudes on the market at defensive line. I preferably
Yeah,
just tell them go out get an edge rusher. Just again, like I said, Cam Jordan's out there. He knows Dennis Allen. Just give him a 1 year deal. Hey, you're here for 1 year. If you want to be back for maybe another year, we'll give you another year, 1 year deal. Like do what the Khalil Mack situation. Just don't pay crazy money for that guy.
yeah.
Joey Bosa's out there. Frick, Jadeveon Clown, even though he ain't that good of a pass rusher, he's still solid. There's
I
guys
don't want Clown. I don't want Clown. I would love Cam Jordan. That would be the one I want.
you would hope that's who they go after. He has a relationship with Dennis Allen, but again, like I
And,
said,
and then on top of that, he seems like he's crazy professional.
yeah,
Um, and he does have he does have some seems like I'll say desire for life after football to be in the media. So
yeah.
he already knows and how to speak. Um, shouldn't say how. He's very well adept at speaking to the media after games, before games, and things of that nature. So I do like Cam Jordan.
At least the Vikings
A
got rid of
one
Grenard,
a,
though.
a 1 year, $8 million deal, I think would bring him in.
Yeah. Well, there's that. At least the Vikings got rid of Grenard, though. So that's all they got to work. All they got to have is who's the other guy? They got Will Anderson.
Say again?
The Vikings got because the Vikings got rid of Grenard.
They got rid of Grenard,
They got
yes.
they got Will Anderson over there, right?
Yeah, Will Anderson, Daniel Hunter.
No, that's the Texans. My bad.
Yeah,
My
that's who Will Anderson is.
Oh, well then who's the other Alabama pass rusher that the Vikings got?
Oh, they got Dallas Turner.
Oh, that's who it was. Well, regardless, I don't it seems like I don't have to deal. Well, regardless, it's Brian Flores. He'll find a way to get a pass rusher. So
That's true.
that's just my case. I'm just getting sick and tired of polls neglecting the D line and just betting on that guys that have these breakout years and they step up. But if they don't, well, then we're looking at sunken costs there. I just hope that the defensive line issue isn't something that costs you down the road, whether you make the playoffs or not next year. I would hope you make the playoffs next year, but I hope the D line is not the specific reason to why you get eliminated in the playoffs because you can't stop the run. Because we saw late in the year, teams what they saw, okay, let's just run the ball, do these short passes, and let's just kill clock. Because we know if Caleb Williams in the offense gets the ball back, that's a problem for us. So we're just
Yep.
going to drain clock and we're going to run the ball and wear this defense out. And if that starts
Yep.
happening week one, then we got problems.
Yep.
And the problems will fall at the feet of the GM because he continues to fail to neglect the D line. But hey,
Yep.
he knows what he's talking about, not me. I'm just a fan over here, just saying like, why can't we just go out there and we just go get a defensive line player? Why we got to waste a pick on a special teams guy who probably was going to be there in the 7th round or the 6th round? But we got to take the back end. We got to take our D line with our very last pick, which has been the draft
But
process.
I like the pick though.
That's fine. That's fine.
I like the pick.
But again, it's a
I mean,
6th-round pick.
that's true.
I would hope hopefully the guy develops and becomes a monster. But it's been a long time since the Bears have had a homegrown defensive line elite player. A very long time. I'm not counting Khalil Mack
That's
and that
true.
you traded for him. We're talking about you drafted and developed him, and I think the last like dominant pass rush they've had is probably like pre-2000s.
Yeah, I was about to say I can't think of anyone after Richard Dent.
So we're talking about the damn 90s.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta admit, I can't think about any Richard Dent, and that was the '80s,
Oh God, bro. Yeah, we got to trade for
and we
pass
got
rush.
we got Dent. What, the 6th and 7th round too?
That was before my time, so I want to know.
Yeah, I think Dent was either a 6th or 7th round pick, and after that, yeah, the only ones I can think of now they were all via free agency.
Yeah. So, in the mid 2000s, you had solid defensive linemen that were still wreaking havoc and getting pressure. Alex Brown.
He wasn't drafted. He wasn't.
He was he was drafted.
he was,
The Bears
he was
did
a
draft
free
him.
agent
No, the Bears drafted him.
out of Florida.
Yeah. Israel
He was okay.
Adojane. Um, Frick, man. I can't think of any of the pass rushers pre-2000 or not pre-2000, the mid-2000s. But they had a good cast there that were disruptive. The guys we have
Uh-huh.
now, eh. It wasn't really to 2010 we started trading for pass rushers. That started with Julius Peppers.
Huh.
Now look at that. Victor Wembanyama, clear concussion protocol. Well, anyways.
Yeah, we got Alex Brown in the 4th round,
Yep.
2002 draft.
Yep.
But did he ever get 10 sacks?
I think he got it one time or he was close to that.
Hmm.
Regardless, the front seven at that time was still really good.
Yeah.
The names weren't important or made massive, but they made an impact.
Yeah.
Now, maybe that had something to do because we had Rod Marinelli on the staff and Lovey. But still, regardless. I'm just saying. The defense line could be met better, and we'll see. We'll see. But
Yeah. And no,
anyways,
Alex Brown never got more than 7 sacks in a season.
well, I'll take that for an Alex Brown. That's what I wanted from Austin Booker.
You speaking truth there now, brother.
Like, there's
You
only
get
so much we
you
can rely.
get you get 7 sacks for Austin Booker. I can probably tell you that Montez Sweat is getting 10
Oh, yeah.
at least.
So,
I mean, if Neville Gallimore can get you 3, maybe 4,
4.
you know, Street get you 3 or 4 in the interior.
We'll see. We'll see. But
Yeah, we'll see.
and we're gonna get out for guys. The next video will more than likely be our round 1 video. I can talk off camera when you want to do that. I am free tomorrow, and things like that. But after that, it's just kind of just waiting and seeing. I know the NBA playoffs are going on, but there's really nothing to talk about the playoffs outside of a few series. The only thing we already know
Yeah.
we already know the
You
Rockets
keep
the Rockets are
you
gonna get
keep getting
eliminated.
on my you keep getting on my doggone nerves about Cleveland and Toronto. Big
Oh,
whoop.
that's a close series. That's a close game right now.
Big whoop. Now, granted, I've been watching basketball a long time, and I would love to see a really good series, and that very well may be the one. Yeah, but so far the NBA players as a whole has just been,
Yeah.
and we probably won't see any really great matchups until the second round. But this one, yeah, maybe I should just go ahead and chime in and take a look.
It's 47-44 right now in the third quarter.
Yeah, the Knicks and Hawks is pretty good one too. If the Knicks decide to start playing some defense.
NHL playoffs have been good too. I've been watching some of the NHL playoffs.
Yeah,
Minnesota and Dallas have been good series. Back-to-back
yeah,
good
real.
series.
Yeah, I've heard that series is actually pretty good. Goes back to some of that old school hockey I grew up with.
We'll see if Anaheim can go up 3-1. They may upset Edmonton.
Yep, maybe, could be,
I could have
possibly.
went to game 3, but I just
But I
didn't
will
choose.
tell you, and you know just as well as I do, in the NHL, a 3-1 lead ain't nothing.
Well,
It
that's
ain't
that's what the
nothing.
Penguins are at right now.
Yeah, it ain't nothing to come back from. So
So we'll see. I
yeah.
could have went to game 3, the Ducks game. I'm not a Ducks fan, but I've been to a few Ducks games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And see, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm in Germany. I don't. We don't get that much hockey over here.
So
If that means anything.
so. Yeah, guys, catch you guys in this video. Till then, guys, see you guys later. Till then, guys, peace.